All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you see any cameramen or photographers around you, please stay and keep on smiling. As you may know, maybe your photos will be out soon. And keep the smile on your face as we proceed to the next session in a while. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and enjoy the melodious guitar music that is being presented right now. And for the confirmation, we'll be having a lot of performances, special melodious performances only brought to you for this particular event. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the night. As I can see the, yes, please enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as a startup for this evening, I would like to request all of you ladies and gentlemen to please stand up for the singing of our national anthem, Negaraku and Tamil Taiwarte. All right, thank you everyone. Please be seated. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us put our hands together for the Sri Ranganathan Bharata Alayam. Please welcome. Wow, what a mind-blowing performance. Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? Can we hear once again for the Bharatanatyam group? All right, ladies and gentlemen, on this special day, I would be honored to share with all of you on some greatest achievements of Dr. Ambedkar's role in drafting the Indian Constitution. Besides, he was also a great leader and campaigner to fight against caste discrimination in the best way he could. He had a strong vision that education was the key to empowerment, and he worked towards creating opportunities for the education of marginalized communities. Above and apart from that, he was also the champion of women's rights and a vision for modern India, definitely, yeah? And Dr. Ambedkar envisioned a modern, democratic India that was free from the shackles of social discrimination and oppression. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ambedkar's life and work had a profound impact on India, and his contributions will continue to shape the country's political, social, and economic landscape. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Dato' Murugesan Sinadevar to deliver the opening speech. With due respect, please welcome.
Salam Malaysia Madani, Namaskar, Vanakkam, and a very good evening to the Honorable Tuan Stephen Sim Chee Kiong, Minister of Human Resources, the Honorable Senator Puan Saraswati Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity and Patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, His Excellency, Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the grandson of Dr. Ambedkar, Mr. Oms P. Thiagarajan, patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization and also the founder of Oms Foundation, Dato' Panchamurthy, President of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, Mr. Herman Sute, International Coordinator, international and local delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, a very good evening to all of you and a warm Malaysian welcome to our distinguished guests from around the world. Tonight, we gather for a gala dinner with the Honorable Minister of Human Resources, YB Sim Kee Cheong, dignitaries and foreign delegates who will be attending the Dr. Ambedkar's 133rd birth anniversary celebration tomorrow, and Dr. Ambedkar's 5th International Convention to be held on the 14th and 15th of April, also at the same venue. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar is one of the most esteemed figures in our shared history. His legacy transcends borders and resonates deeply with the principles of equality, justice, and empowerment that is universal in nature. His tireless effort towards social reform and his unwavering commitment to the upliftment of the oppressed have left an indelible mark not only on India, but on the global stage. As we come together tonight in this beautiful city of Shah Alam, we not only celebrate the life and achievements of Dr. Ambedkar, but also reaffirm our collective commitment to the values he stood for. In the world where the struggle for equality and social justice knows no boundaries, Dr. Ambedkar's teachings serve as a beacon of hope, inspiring us to strive for a more inclusive and equitable world. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's gala dinner is not just an opportunity for us to enjoy the company of one another and savor the famous culinary delights of Malaysia. It is also a chance for us to reflect on the progress we have made and the challenges that lie ahead in realizing Dr. Ambedkar's vision of a society free from discrimination and oppression. As we gather here amidst serene Malaysia, let us also remember the countless individuals around the globe who continue to face discrimination and injustice, and let us recommit ourselves to the cause of building a world where every person is treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their background or circumstance. And therefore, it gives me immense pleasure to note that the grandson of Dr. Ambedkar himself is here with us tonight as we celebrate the legacy of his grandfather. To Mr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and all foreign delegates, welcome to Malaysia, which is in fact truly Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, our Muslim brothers and sisters just celebrated Eid Mubarak a few days ago, and I wish them in our Malaysian style, Selamat Hari Raya. For the foreign delegates, it is also customary that this greeting of Selamat Hari Raya is usually followed by a beautiful phrase in the Malay language, which sounds like this: Maaf Zahir dan Batin. What this phrase means is that I ask for your forgiveness, both physically and spiritually. In the same spirit, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to say, Maaf Zahir dan Batin to all our distinguished guests and delegates in the event there are any shortcomings in this 3 days event. To our Tamil brothers and sisters, we wish them Happy Tamil New Year or Iniya Tamil Puthandu Valthukal, which also falls on the 14th of April this year. And to our Sikh friends, Happy Vaisakhi, which is today. Before I conclude, I would like to make a special mention of YB Stephen Sim's support and commitment towards this conference. He has supported us in more ways than one, and he's one of the first person to come forward to give his undivided support for this event. Thank you, YB. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, I extend a heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you, our dear esteemed guests. And thank you for gracing us with your presence on this special evening. Let us come together in celebration of Dr. Ambedkar's enduring legacy, and let his teachings guide us as we work towards a brighter and a more equitable future for all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dato, for the wonderful speech. Please remain on the stage as we have a special gift for you. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call upon Dato Panjamurti, President of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, to present the Galan and Ponade to Dato Murugesan Sinadewer. Please welcome. And also Dato to you, Selamat Hari Raya too, from me. Ladies and gentlemen, it usually takes some time to bring a beautiful garland on stage and to put it on to a special person. So let's witness the special moment of garland on the stage. And please give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to the special performance. Once again, let's put all our hands together for Sri Ranganathan Bharathalayam. Please welcome.
सत्य कथा पुरुषार्थ कथा सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा सत्य कथा पुरुषार्थ कथा सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा चढ़ते सूरज सा तेजवान वो कीर्तिमान हुंकार भरे जब कूच करे थर थर कांपे आसमान वो राजपुत्र वो शूरवीर पर्वत को भेद दे उसके तीर शांति का स्रोत करुणा की धार निर्धर झरे मन से अपार वो राजपुत्र वो शूरवीर पर्वत को भेद दे उसके तीर है शाक्य वंश का वो तारा जगमग है जिससे जग सारा
सत्य कथा पुरुषार्थ कथा सुनो सुनो सिद्धार्थ कथा
आरंभ हो गई निर्वाण प्रथा सुनो सुनो ये बुद्ध कथा संसार में दुख का कारण क्या संताप शोक का निवारण क्या संसार में दुख का कारण क्या संताप शोक का निवारण क्या इस खोज में सब कुछ त्याग दिया हर वैभव से वैराग लिया वो सृष्टि से संयुक्त हुए सिद्धार्थ से गौतम बुद्ध हुए
संभं शरणं
Oh, thank you. That was a wonderful performance, yeah? All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to call upon Tuan Oms P. Tyagarajan, patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, to present the Galan and Ponadai to Dr. Bimrao Ambedkar, the grandson of Dr. Ambedkar. Please welcome. All right, without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Bimrao Ambedkar. With due respect, ladies and gentlemen, the grandson to Dr. Ambedkar, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Jai Bhim to all. This is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar birthday celebration of 133 and distinguished guest for this function, Honorable Stephen Singh Jim Kaun, Minister of the Human Resources, Honorable Senators Plons Saraswati Ji Kandasamy, the Deputy Minister of the National Unity and Patron of the Malaysia, Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association Organizations, His Excellency Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India, Tarun Om Thangaragan, Patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association, Darup Panchamurthy, President of Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association, from Bombay, India, Mr. Hemant Sute, International Coordinator, all the local, international distinguished guests coming from all over the world, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the wonderful day. We are celebrating before the 14 April, 13 Aprils. This is the first time I'm going to inaugurate Babasaheb statue in tomorrow. In India, we have inaugurated Babasaheb statue everywhere, but this is the first time. Outside the India, I'm going to inaugurate the Babasaheb statue over there. And it's come to know that Babasaheb is borderless. There is no border at all. All over the world, the Baba Sahib teaching, Baba Sahib principle, what the Baba Sahib has worked for the humanity. This will come to know across the world now. Now the position of the Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is emerged as a global leader, global social crusader. And that is why this type of functions was held in all over the world. This is particularly that the Maharashtra government has published the books which was written by the Baba Sahib. This is the 27 volumes are there. And it will be covered each and every subject. And that is published by the Maharashtra, and it will be cheaply available for the peoples. And it is translated in so many languages. And that is why the literature of the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Baba Sahib Ambedkar will be available all over the world. And people realize that what he has done for 100 years ago. And that is why the Baba Sahib respect in all over the world. I thanks to all dignitaries who are arranging these programs. Wonderful programs is there. And it will give the message to the Malaysian people that what Baba Sahib teaching is there, what he has fought against the discriminations in India. I think this program will be give the message to the Malaysian people. Thank you and Jai Bhim.
Thank you, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, for the wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would like to call upon the Honorable Senator Puan Saraswati Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity and patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, to present the gala and Ponadai to His Excellency Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India. Right, next in line, I'm honored to invite His Excellency Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India, to deliver his speech. With great honor and respect, His Excellency, please welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles, for your very generous introduction. YB Tuan Steven Sim Chi Kyong, Honorable Minister of Human Resources. YB Senator Puan Saraswati Kandasamy, Honorable Deputy Minister of National Unity and patron of Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, grandson of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Mr. Oms Tyagarajan, patron of Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Foundation and also the founder of the Oms Foundation. Dr. Panjamurthy Karupan, president of the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association. Dr. Murugeshan, esteemed members of the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association of Malaysia, and the distinguished delegates from all over the world, particularly also from India, led by Mr. Hemant Sude. I understand there are 135 members who are joining with the team here. Dato, Datin, ladies and gentlemen, Selamat Petang. Good evening, Vanakkam. It is indeed a great honor and a privilege for me to join the commemoration of the 133rd birth anniversary of one of the greatest visionaries and social reformers of our time, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association of Malaysia for organizing this birth anniversary celebration, as well as doing the 5th International Conference on Dr. Ambedkar. This marks a significant milestone in recognition of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's enduring legacy in Malaysia. Well, friends, you all know that Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, as the father of the Indian Constitution and an emblem of social justice, is known for his transformative approach towards removing social inequalities and ensuring social justice. The Government of India, led by Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, continues to make unparalleled efforts in translating Dr. Ambedkar's dream of uplifting the underprivileged into action. Virtually every cornerstone program of Government of India, from Jan Dhan to Mudra and beyond, prioritizes serving the most vulnerable and marginalized segments of the society. As a prominent social reformer, Dr. Ambedkar had expressed his view on several urgent issues then and which are so relevant today, such as the need for industrialization and women's empowerment. Taking inspiration from Dr. Ambedkar's idea, the Government of India has not only elevated its perspectives on a broad spectrum, but also tirelessly strived to materialize this vision for the greater good of the society in India. To realize the industrialization vision set forth by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, India has implemented a series of significant reforms aimed at enhancing what we call the Make in India initiative. These reforms, including substantial reduction in corporate taxes and overhauling labor laws, have propelled India into the top 5 countries economically in the world. The Make in India initiative aligns perfectly with Dr. Ambedkar's vision of India as an industrial powerhouse. Similarly, programs like Startup India, Stand Up India echo Dr. Ambedkar's unwavering belief in self-reliance. As we gather today, we are reminded of Dr. Ambedkar's belief in the power of education as a catalyst for social change. He recognized that education was the key to liberating individuals from shackles of oppression and empowering them to lead lives of dignity and respect. The Government of India's commitment to realizing Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's vision of providing education to the most underprivileged came to fruition with the introduction of what we call the new education policy of India in 2020. This groundbreaking policy places the needs of the 21st century India at the forefront, bringing about the revolutionary changes needed to the education system. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also strove for gender equality and diligently worked to create an enabling environment for women's progress. In line with this vision, the Government of India has enacted substantial reforms to empower women in India, including abolition of triple talaq. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the international conference to be held tomorrow, which is 5th in the series, I'm very confident resonates deeply with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's vision and ideals. In today's interconnected world, with simmering differences of various shades, it is imperative that we draw inspiration from Dr. Ambedkar's teachings and strive towards building a more equitable and harmonious society. The Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's Welfare Association of Malaysia, I must tell to the international delegates who are participating in this event, has played a pivotal role in promoting the ideals of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar in Malaysia. Through its various initiatives and programs, the association has been instrumental in providing support and assistance to those in need, thereby embodying the spirit of compassion and solidarity as espoused by Dr. Ambedkar. I am glad to see that Dr. Ambedkar's vision and ideals are connecting people of Malaysia and India, as well as those Indians living in different countries. Thus, his vision is becoming and serving as an important bridge for further expanding and strengthening the bilateral ties of India and Malaysia. The participation of Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, at tomorrow's international conference is an important testament to the role of Dr. Ambedkar's vision in advancing our bilateral relations to greater heights. As we commemorate Dr. Ambedkar's birthday tomorrow, let us not only celebrate his remarkable achievements, but also reaffirm our commitment to upholding the principles of equality, justice, and fraternity. It is time to recall Dr. Ambedkar's vision of creating a world where every individual, regardless of their backgrounds or circumstances, continue to fulfill and give them an opportunity to fulfill their potential and contribute to the progress of society. In conclusion, I'd like to once again express my deep appreciation to Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Association of Malaysia, led by very distinguished Dato, for your support in making this happen in such events where, your role has been very, very instrumental, I would call, for supporting this event and also in having the international conference tomorrow. And in this regard, I'm very confident that this international conference will further contribute towards advancing the causes of constitutionalism, social justice, and equality. May the teachings and legacy of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar continue to inspire us to try for a more just and equitable world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commission of India, for that inspiring speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let us all witness a special dance performance brought to you specially.
जगदीश्वर देवी भुवनेश्वरी सदुर्वेदी परिपूर्ण कलैवाणी करुणाहरि अखिलाण्डरूपी दीप्ताना दीप्ताना निरन्तरी नारीलं काकुण्यङ्गै तुरन्तरी आदिनि अन्तं इल्ला कादम्बरी वारायो वारायो तायेनी शरणागति अरुळुं नादविनोदिनी सगल सौन्दरिनी सावங்கள் சூழுதே காத்திடு கைகொடு உனன்றி நீ சத்தம் கேட்டதுமே நெல் பூத்து நிற்கும் ஒளி சத்தம் கேட்டதுமே கல் பூத்து நிற்கும் பனை சத்தம் கேட்டதுமே வில் பூத்து நிற்கும் சோழத்தின் பெருமை கூற சொல் பூத்து நிற்கும் பொன்னினாதி பார்க்கணுமே பொழுதுக்குள்ள கன்னி பெண்கள் காணணுமே காத்த போல
Right, thank you for the wonderful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we would like to call upon the Honorable Stephen Simchikyong, Minister of Human Resources, on stage. And now I would like to invite Dato Panchamurti, President of the Malaysian Dr.Ambedkar Welfare Organization, to present the Galan and Ponade to the Honorable Stephen Simchikyong, Minister of Human Resources. Thank you, Dato Panchamurti. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite the Honorable Stephen Simchikyong, Minister of Human Resources, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
My esteemed colleague, the Honorable Senator Saraswati Kandasamy, Deputy Minister of National Unity, as well as patron of the Malaysian Dr.Ambedkar Welfare Organization. His Excellency Mr. B.N. Reddy, High Commissioner of India to Malaysia, our esteemed guest, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, grandson of Dr. Ambedkar. I think let us give him a round of welcoming applause. Tuan Oms P. Tiagaran, patron of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization. Dr. Dato Panchamurti, President of the Malaysian Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization. Herman Sate, International Coordinator, international and local delegates, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very good evening to all of you. I came upon this event by a very happy coincidence. In February this year, if Your Excellency remember, I had an opportunity to lunch with His Excellency B.M. Reddy, and we spoke on many issues, on human resource management, on skills training, the relation between Malaysia and India. And I spoke about, because I'm from Penang, an hour flight away, north of Kuala Lumpur, for our foreign guests. I spoke about the visit of the great Rabindranath Tagore to Penang about 100 years ago. And then I told His Excellency that I have come during my university days to admire one Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Though, that was my comment to him, he was relatively little known here in Malaysia. And then like how Prophet Elijah of old was corrected of his self-presumptuousness, His Excellency immediately enlightened my naivete. He said, there are others too here in Malaysia who admire Dr. Ambedkar, and they even organize conferences around him. And one of them, he told me, is my honorable colleague, Senator Saraswati Kandasamy, the Deputy Minister for National Unity. And she is, of course, the patron of the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization here in Malaysia. Up until then, I had only read writings by and of Dr. Ambedkar, and had no idea that such an organization existed here in Malaysia. What a wonderful discovery. Congratulations to the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization. And of course, one thing led to another, and eventually I was invited to this very meaningful conference. Through the effort of Senator Saraswati, I also had the privilege to contribute a little bit of financial support to the organizing fund. My dear friends, how do we praise or even appraise someone like Dr. Ambedkar? He hated hero worship and even lamented the practice of sucking up to politicians in his days. In most stories I read about Ambedkar, he is the anti-hero, seen as an agitator more than a leader, a provocateur more than a protagonist, a zealot more than a saint, tolerated only by the forbearance of the elite, doomed to fail from the beginning, but nonetheless demonstrated what philosopher Slavoj Zizek called the courage of hopelessness, to persevere towards his reform agenda against the despairing condition of his time. And such is the object of our discussion. How do we even begin to talk about this man? It is, of course, a good fortune that I have previously read a lecture by Dr. Ambedkar delivered in 1943 in honor of the 101st birthday anniversary of Justice Mahadev Govind Renade. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Perhaps I shall borrow the outline of his speech in the centenary honor of Justice Renade to articulate our own centennial honor unto this man. First and foremost, Dr. Ambedkar was a man of great intellect. Despite the immense hardship in majority due to the grave injustice of being discriminated against by the factor of his birth, Dr. Ambedkar managed by his own industrious efforts to graduate from top universities in America and in the United Kingdom in economics, finance, laws, etc. His writings on diverse and difficult topics, whether economics, social politics, ethnology, history, or even theology, demonstrated brilliant scholarship. And to me personally, they were very elucidating, to say the least. Just pick any of his essays or speeches. One will find the breadth and width of his knowledge, with him citing various ancient and modern thinkers from the east to the west, and then complementing them with the depth of his own analysis and clarity of thoughts. No one can argue that Dr. Ambedkar lacked intellect, not even his political adversary. In his own words, expressing the astonishment at being appointed to the Nehru cabinet, Ambedkar said this: "I was in the opposite camp and had already been condemned as unworthy of association when the interim government was formed in August 1946. Yet, despite being seen as an antagonist to the new government at that time, he was appointed law minister and tasked to the historic role of drafting the Constitution of India. This is a perfect illustration how even those who disagreed with him acknowledge his great intellectual merits." And secondly, Ambedkar was an honest and sincere man. In at least two of his speeches, in my very limited reading, Ambedkar bluntly expressed his unwillingness to accept the original invitation for him to speak. One was the 1943 lecture on Justice Renade that I mentioned, and the other was, of course, the famous speech titled today, Annihilation of Caste, which was supposed to be delivered at the Jat Par Toda Mandal 1936 conference in Lahore. Of course, the speech was undelivered because the conference was eventually cancelled. But in the script, Dr. Ambedkar unapologetically said, "I have accepted the invitation much against my very own will." How rare is such frankness among invited guests and speakers who dared to even sound impertinent just to speak the truth. In fact, the reason for the cancellation of the conference was because Ambedkar refused, in his own word again, to alter even a comma after being asked by the organizer. After he was being asked by the organizers to tone down on certain part of his criticism. This is a man who would rather be honest than be honored. A sincere man cares for principles and not for position or power, which is why Ambedkar was willing to resign from the ministerial position coveted by many even today, when the Nehru government backtracked on certain reforms pertaining to religion and the caste system. In his parliamentary speech explaining his resignation, Dr. Ambedkar said, and again his word, "My exit from the cabinet may not be a matter of much concern to anybody in this country, but I must be true to myself, and that can only be by going out." Such is the stance of a sincere and honest man. Thirdly, Dr. Ambedkar was a social reformer in the truest sense of the word. In fact, he argued in many of his writings that social reforms must be prior to political reforms. This, however, could be misconstrued as meaning Dr. Ambedkar did not care for politics and prioritize social issues. There is nothing further than the truth than such false thinking. In fact, it was very clear that Ambedkar when he talked about social reforms, he meant political actions to ensure liberty, equality, and fraternity. He knew that the biggest problem of the oppressed class, or rather, more accurately, caste, was not the mere poverty of property, but rather the poverty of power. He recognized that beyond the performative rituals against the oppressed, such as the Dalits were required to wear a pot around their neck, lest their saliva falls and pollute the earth, or tie a broom behind them to sweep the ground off their wretched footprints. All these, he said, are performative rituals, because it was really in the denial of political rights which entrapped the oppressed into a fate of eternal servitude. In his own words, and I quote him, "The only answer which I can give to that situation, and it is that the lower caste has been completely disabled for direct action on account of this wretched caste system. They could receive no education. They could not think out or know the way to their salvation. They were condemned to be lowly, and not knowing the way of escape and not having the means of escape, they became reconciled to eternal servitude, which they accepted as their inescapable fate." Those of you who are familiar with that famous passage from Annihilation of Caste will notice that I deliberately removed the violent section of that famous quote, because I fear it will inspire a misunderstood message in today's context of a live wire society where everyone is ever ready to erupt at the slightest provocation. But one ought to be reminded, however, of the violence which Ambedkar and his community had to endure within the caste system, where perhaps the only way out for them at that time was through equally radical action. Ambedkar's politics was social reform. Even his religion was social reform. So committed was Ambedkar to the idea of universal equality that he dedicated a chapter in his treatise on Buddhism to the conversion of the low and the lowly, of Upali the barber, of Sunita the sweeper, of Sopaka and Supiya the untouchables, of Sumangangla the peasant, and of Suprabuddha the leper. This was, of course, Ambedkar's way to contrast the universal equality of all men and women, which he believed in, against the practice of caste discrimination he was born into. And if you read his treatise on Buddhism, I love it. I'm not a Buddhist, but I love it. Employing the classic Indian dialectics, Dr. Ambedkar presented a 15-point argument on the idea of equality in Buddhism, beginning with premise number 1, men are born unequal. That's his premise number 1. Men are born unequal. Notice, he would not have any of the mythical idealism of Americanism, preferring to be grounded by the reality of experience. And then he proceeded by asking, should this rule of inequality, where survival of the fittest, be allowed as the rule of life? Only to answer his own interlocution by saying, equality may help the best to survive, even though the best may not be the fittest. And what our society wants is the best, not the fittest. Finally, reaching his grand conclusion at premise number 15, he said, this was the viewpoint of the Buddha, and it was because of this that he, the Buddha, argued that a religion that which not preach equality is not worth having. He was fiercely committed to universal equality, despite the crushing weight of tradition stacked against him. In his own words, describing Renade, borrowing from Lord Rosebery, speaking about Napoleon, Ambedkar was a scourge and scavenger born to cleanse society and lead it on the right path, who is engaged in vast operation, partly positive, mainly negative, but all relating to social regeneration. My dear friends, with these 3 ingredients, immense intellect, great sincerity, and commitment towards reform, we must then conclude of Dr. Ambedkar, just as he did of Justice Renade in his speech in 1943. Thus is a great man. We are here, my dear friends, tonight to honor a great man. And as we are halfway into this 3rd decade of the 21st century, the world is faced with multiple crises, from war to trade war, from global pandemics to global climate change. As our generation grapples with these challenges, perhaps Dr. Ambedkar offered a path towards salvation. A salvation not consisting of mysticism, not of otherworldliness, but precisely because he was firmly rooted in the world, contemplating, nay, experiencing worldly crisis. His meditation to reconstruct a better world can help us in our own endeavor. I'm delighted to be among learned admirers of Dr. Ambedkar, and I'm honored. Malaysia is definitely honored and proud to host this conference. I welcome all of you, especially our foreign friends. I wish you a fruitful conference tomorrow. Finally, what then shall we, admirers and students of Ambedkar, do? Again, I think no better can I say it than Baba Sahib himself. This is my paraphrase of his speech on Justice Renade, which I introduced earlier. The original speech referred to the action or direction ought to be taken by the liberal followers of Justice Renade. Here, I borrow Baba Sahib's own words to show the way forward for us. It follows that if we have faith in and love and respect for Ambedkar, our supreme duty lies not merely in assembling together to sing his praises, but in organizing ourselves for the spreading of the gospel of Ambedkar. Baba Sahib himself warned us that if the caste question is not resolved, when Indians travel abroad, they will only bring the Indian domestic problems to new location. But what he in his humility perhaps had not anticipated is how, when students of Ambedkar like yourself travels abroad, you bring his vision of a better world everywhere you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, the Honorable Stephen Sim Chi Kyong, for the motivating speech. The Honorable Stephen Sim, please kindly remain on stage for photography session. To all VVIP guests seated at the front table, you are cordially invited to be on stage for the photography session. Once again, to all VVIP guests seated at the VIP table, please come on stage. Thank you, VIPs. To all VIPs, please be seated. And now we will move on to a group photo session. Once again, to all VIPs, please be seated, as now we would move on to the group photo session. All right, all photographers, please be invited on stage to capture the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as we are about to commence. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the cooperation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, media PICs, please welcome on stage for a group photography session with the audience. Once again, to all media PICs, please take your place on stage for the photography session. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all witness the special musical and dance performances as we enjoy the dinners of today. Please enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special instrumental musical performance. On the violin, Mr. Harish. On the flute and saxophone, Mr. Ayanar. And on the guitar, Mr. Sami Kannan. Let's hear.
எனக்கு உண்டான காயம் அது தன்னால ஆறிடும். அது என்னமோ தெரியல, என்ன மாயமோ தெரியல, எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே ஆவறது இல்லை. எனக்கு என்ன காயம்னாலும் உன் உடம்பு தாங்கிடும். உன் உடம்பு தாங்குமா? தாங்காது. பிராமி, மனிதன் உணர்ந்து கொள்ள இது மனித காதல் அல்ல, அதையும் தாண்டி புனிதமானது. என் காதல் என்னன்னு சொல்லாம எங்க அழுகா வருது. ஆனா நான் அழுது என் சோகம் ஒன்ன தாக்கிடுமோ அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும் போது வர்ற அழுக கூட நின்றுடுது.
எவ்வளோ இவ்வளோ அழகா ஒரு இவ்வளோ அழகா பார்த்துக்க மாட்டேன்.
கால் பண்ணுங்க. ஓகேயா?
எவ்வளோ இவ்வளோ அழகா ஒரு இவ்வளோ அழகா பார்த்துருக்க மாட்டேன். நான் லவ் இட்.
All right, presenting to you Sainish and Praveen from SMK Sri Andalas.
காட்டுக்குள்ள மனசுக்குள்ள பாட்டு தண்டும் பஞ்சம் இல்லை பாடத்தான்
right, ladies and gentlemen, next upon we have a special performance for you. So please be seated. Kindly, ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat as we proceed to the next performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly take your seat as we proceed to the next performance. Ladies and gentlemen, for your kind information, this performance is brought to you specially by Mrs. Suhasini Somkumar from Mumbai. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mrs. Suhasini Somkumar. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the wonderful performance. To all ladies and gentlemen, my humble request to all of you, please be seated. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please kindly be seated as we are about to proceed for the next purpose. right, thank you for the wonderful performance. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us all welcome Ms. J. Karen Kasturi, Secretary General of Malaysia, Dr. Ambedkar's Welfare Organization, to deliver her closing speech. Please welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I feel deeply honored to be here tonight. As we draw to a close this evening, on behalf of the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, I extend heartfelt gratitude to all our esteemed guests for gracing us with their presence and for embracing the legacy of Dr. Ambedkar. Through the Dr. Ambedkar International Mission, you have not only inspired but also championed movements for social justice, equality, and empowerment worldwide, echoing the teachings and principles of Dr. Ambedkar. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share a powerful quote from Dr. Ambedkar. Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. As we gather here to celebrate his legacy, let us reflect on the profound significance of these words and commit ourselves to the pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment. The 133rd Dr. Ambedkar Jayanti and the 5th International Convention are poised to commence on 14th and 15th. Tomorrow, we eagerly anticipate the presence of the Prime Minister, Honorable Dato Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, who will grace the occasion as the chief guest of honor. With an expected attendance of over 1,000 participants, this event marks a significant milestone for Malaysians, symbolizing our collective commitment to advancing the principles of equality and social justice advocated by Dr. Ambedkar. As the Secretary General of the Dr. Ambedkar Welfare Organization, I wish to extend my deepest appreciation to the committee members and the organizing committee. Their unwavering dedication and commitment have been instrumental in making this event a reality. I'm profoundly grateful for their tireless efforts. This achievement would not have been possible without the guidance and support of our esteemed patrons, Honorable Senator Saraswati Kandasamy and Mr. Oms P. Thiagarajan, as well as our President, Dato Panjamurti. I would like to invite them on stage, please. Honorable Senator Saraswati Kandasamy and Mr. Oms P. Thiagarajan. And I would like to invite the President, Dato Panjamurti, to do the felicitation to our patrons. Thank you. நீங்க செய்யுங்க சார். Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving them a warm round of applause. Thank you. With that, I hope you enjoyed this evening's dinner, and I wish you a pleasant stay and a rewarding experience here in Malaysia. Good night, and we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thank you.